Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
So did you guys hear the story about his mom?
Bryce?
No. John Silva.
No.
I don't know if it's true. I saw it on
Don't
X.
say it. Don't say it.
No, I gotta say it because I mean it's a crazy story.
Hopefully
I could be wrong.
Good.
If
it's not
it's
good.
true, dude.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it might be real. His mom killed like 3 dudes that
Dude,
were trying
no,
to
come on.
assault her, and he witnessed it.
Are you serious?
Oh, I've never.
We hopefully the producers.
This is literally the worst.
This is
But it makes
journalism
me
101 taught
because
by
I talked to
University.
I talked to
Yes.
his teammate Kyle and before one of his last fights, and he was saying, "Yo, this dude, he's legit crazy. He's a crazy dude. It's not like a show."
Saying this.
And it kind of like it seems like he's seen a lot in his life.
The clip you just watched was from the weigh-in show for UFC 314. First of all, I think it's kind of ridiculous that Chris Weidman wasn't sure about what he was talking about, but he felt comfortable putting it out there. But it made me really curious and do some more research. And unfortunately, it turns out it's actually true. Gene Silva has definitely seen some horrific things in his life, which makes things actually make kind of sense with the way he acts, the way he fights, his mannerism. I know a lot of people say, oh man, he's autistic, his this, is that, but it turns out he's just been through some shit in life. So I found this article from MMAmania. I'll leave the link below the description in this video. It says UFC 314's Gene Silva was bullied through childhood for barking. It was like a nervous tick. Now, if you watch Gene Silva, you know something he does every time is bark at his opponents, bark when he wins a fight, bark anytime.
Anything else?
It turns out he's not just doing that to intimidate his opponents. It's actually a nervous tick. Alright, so let's go into the details of this article. Gene Silva was a bundle of emotions after his dominating win over Bryce Mitchell at UFC 314 in Miami, Florida. Silva leaned heavy into the mind games coming into their fight and spent much of fight week barking at Mitchell's face like a dog, because he did that even before the fight.
You barking up the wrong tree, motherfucker.
The fans got into it as well, and the crowd erupted in barks before and after their match. Lord Silva would end up tapping Thug Nasty in a ninja choke in the second round. I mean, it was a brutal finish, by the way. That fight was amazing. Gene Silva outperformed my expectations. I mean, if you told me who was gonna submit who in that fight, I would have thought it was Bryce Mitchell, but it turns out Gene Silva was pretty well rounded. He dominated Bryce on the feet, dominated him on the ground, and finished him. His post-fight interview with Megan O'Leary, he revealed the barking is tied into his traumatic childhood and the loss of his brother.
Vendo TV na escola, sofri muito com isso, porque era como se fosse tique nervoso de ficar fazendo isso.
It's gonna get tougher, actually. It's gonna get tougher because my brother's there with me. That's when that bark, I'm closer to my brother than I ever was, because he had a dog, and that's what it was. And feeling bullied when we were young and everything, and that dog, every time I think of it, that when that barking comes up, I have the mental image. I'm with him. He's closer to me than I've ever been. And that barking, that's what it is an expression of emotions, and it just takes me back to that time, and that's it. It's just pure emotion.
The article goes on to say Gene Silva had a hard time holding back tears as he spoke to Olivia, who tried to steer the conversation somewhere positive. She asked about having the support of fans barking, and Silva took a shuddering deep breath. Damn, that makes it even harder, Silva said in Portuguese. I feel my brother's presence in a way that I only feel when I'm here, The barking comes from my brother. He gave me a dog when I was little at a Hot Mart store. And since then, I started to show my emotions by barking while playing, watching TV, while at school. I suffered a lot because of it, because it was like a nervous tick doing that, Silva finished. I mean, it's crazy. Imagine being bullied so much that you have to create a nervous tick that attaches yourself to a dog that your brother gave to you. He didn't really go into the specifics of how he was bullied and exactly how he figured that was a way to escape, but I mean, that alone, it's pretty deep, you know, and it kind of explains his mannerism. He's always crying, he's very emotional, he has a lot of things going on in his head. But that's not the end, guys. That's not the end. By the way, guys, if you're in this part of the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. It gets worse when it comes to the situation with Jean Silva's mother. She went through a very horrific, tragic event, which I'm about to get into in a bit. And unfortunately, Jean Silva was kind of a part of that as well, as he saw it happen. Before we go into that, I want to take a look at Jean Silva's tattoo. He has several tattoos, of course, on his body, but he does have one of his mother, which is pretty interesting. Okay, I went into this article as well. Jean Silva's lock tattoo for his mother and others. On Silva's chest, he has a pretty glaring Nordic style lock tattoo accompanied by a diamond with his mother's name inscribed in it. For Silva, his emotions belong to his beloved mother. Okay, the lock has a diamond with his mother's name right under it, so no one can touch these emotions. Here's the heart, my happiness, and the lock symbolizes many things, and it's an old lock from the Nordic era before Christ. So maybe it's a lock and only real emotions can open. It's basically that. Only real people by my side, Jean Silva stated in an interview. So he pretty much explained what the tattoo means to him. Now let's get into why he went ahead and got that tattoo and what happened to his mother. Like I mentioned before, it's pretty traumatic and viewer discretion advised. It's pretty messed up and graphic, honestly speaking. But finally, let's see what happened. All right, so I went back to the article and it says Silva still hasn't talked publicly in the specifics of what happened to his brothers, but there seems to be some really dark things in the UFC featherweights past a recent interview out of Brazil and him in touch of a horrific situation with his mother. And that's why I made this video, because after doing my research, I actually saw Silva himself talked about this. And man, here comes the graphic part. This is a quote from Jean Silva himself. I saw my mom be GRAPED by 3 men, Silva said. 3 guys abused my mom. I saw my mom kill those 3 guys and saw my mom arrested. I mean, completely horrific. It just kept on getting worse. It's clear that Silva has been through some shit, and it's wild to watch him process in front of the world after each fight. I mean, it just puts you on a whole new perspective on how you look at this guy. And I know a lot of people will be like, man, this guy's autistic, his this, his that. And I used to think he was autistic as well. And maybe he is, maybe, I don't know. But now understanding this dark, horrific backstory, it really puts things in a different perspective, at least for me. And I have a newfound respect for him as well. Take a look at this clip where Silva says exactly what happened.
Eu vi minha mãe ser presa, eu vi minha mãe ser estuprada por 3 caras. 3 caras abusaram da minha mãe, eu vi minha mãe matar esses 3 caras, eu vi minha mãe ser presa. Eu vi minha mãe abandonar a carreira que ela era boxeadora para criar os filhos. Então, fala mãe. Fala filho.
Yeah, I mean, pretty horrible, man. Pretty horrible shit. Like, just imagine, right? Like, of course, some people might not have relationships with their mother, but it doesn't even matter. Like, me, in myself, like, if my mom is sick, I feel horrible. If my mom is upset, if someone is offending my mom, any slight thing, I just want to go crazy. But this guy went through the worst of the worst, watched his mom be attacked and abused in that manner. What's even, I don't know which one is worse, watching that and then watching his mom kill those men, which, you know, they deserved it. You know, I don't know the full details, but they deserved it. Okay, let me just say that. But watching that as a child is absolutely horrific. And then on top of that, his mom is arrested, and I think she's still, you know, locked up to this date. I'm not sure. I couldn't really find the details of her current situation, but at least I found the story come out of Jean Silva's mouth. So I just think it's pretty crazy, man. And like I said, I mean, I always respected him. I already was a fan of Jean Silva and the whole Fighting Nerds, okay? The way they carry themselves like brothers, teammates, not just teammates, but real friends, genuine friends. I have a profound respect for them. But man, my respect for Jean Silva has elevated, because it takes a lot to put this out there. It takes a lot to be able to talk about these things, and I'm so glad he found a way to channel his emotions. You know, now he's a fighter, so he can put all that anger, all that emotions into performing, which a lot of people don't get that outlet. So at least he was able to channel it into something. But I'd like to end this video on something else as well. I think it's fascinating when things happen to someone. It could be something amazing, or it could be something really dark, but somehow, some way, people find their way to religion and Christ. So at the end of this other article, talking about Jean Silva's tattoos, in addition to that, the 28-year-old featherweight up-and-comer's left hand is adorned with tattoos that showcase his devotion to Christianity. He has a large tattoo of an angel with the Christ cross and a prominent lock on his left pectoral muscle. Lastly, he has a familiar tattoo on his right bicep, signifying his devotion and dedication to his loved ones. So props to Jean Silva, man. At least the man is making good money now, channeling his emotions into something good, making a name for himself, him and the whole Fighting Nerds, something we've never seen before. But yeah, crazy story, pretty graphic, pretty horrific, but I'm glad that he's in a better pace right now. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, I think this is absolutely crazy and ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think you still see him as an autistic guy, regardless of what happened? In my opinion, I wouldn't really go that route anymore. I think I see him as someone who went through something absolutely traumatic. What happened with his mom, him being bullied to the fullest extent that he has to bark as a nervous tick. But let me know what you guys think. Please like the video if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys later.